a special contributor for the broadcast. Also, she will be joining the crew there. You see Maria Taylor, Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. And CC will be making her TV analyst debut on their Basketball Night in America show for a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. Obviously, Clark, a big fan of LeBron James, so she'll probably have good things to say about him.
Ladies and gentlemen, lock in and listen closely, because the tectonic plates of the sports world have just shifted so violently that most people don't even realize the ground is splitting beneath them. This is not a simple career move or a flashy side gig for a basketball player. This is the official, signed and sealed coronation of Caitlin Clark as the most powerful force in American basketball, and the WNBA front office is now staring straight into a nightmare they never prepared for. It's official, the ink is dry, and the headlines are screaming what the establishment tried to downplay for years. Caitlin Clark has secured a historic multi-year partnership with NBC Universal to join their NBA broadcast team, and this is not some cute cameo or ceremonial appearance. This is a full-scale takeover of the media landscape. NBC studied the board, they studied the ratings, and they made a cold, calculated decision that is about to reshape the trajectory of sports history. They are no longer presenting her as a WNBA star, they are branding her as the face of the game, full stop. NBC Sports executive producer Sam Flood didn't whisper it, he said it out loud on the record. There is no more iconic figure in basketball in the women's game right now or the game in general. Let that sink in. He didn't qualify it, didn't separate leagues, didn't hide behind gender. He said the game in general, a direct shot across the bow of the NBA's current marketing machine, a warning to the WNBA, and a declaration to the entire sports world that Caitlin Clark has reached a level of power and visibility that transcends league lines, gender debates, and traditional logic itself.
Here's what she said in the press release. I'm really excited to be part of the Basketball Night in America crew this season. Carmelo, Vince, and Tracy are legends of the game, and Maria is a true professional. It will be really fun to join them a few times this season. And then from NBC, Caitlin is one of the most captivating players and dynamic scorers in basketball. We're excited to have Caitlin join Hall of Famers Melo, Vince, Tracy, and Reggie in New York for the launch of Sunday Night Basketball.
You have to zoom in on the fine print of this deal to understand why it is an absolute catastrophe for her critics. This isn't a soft launch. This isn't a protected environment. Her debut is February 1st, and it's not happening in some quiet studio tucked away in Connecticut. She is walking straight into Madison Square Garden, the cathedral of basketball, for a primetime clash between the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks. This is as big as it gets. LeBron James on the floor. Jalen Brunson on the floor. The brightest lights, the loudest crowd, the most unforgiving stage in the sport. And NBC looked at all of that and decided the one person with enough gravity to anchor that broadcast, the one voice powerful enough to bridge that moment, is a 24-year-old woman from Iowa with less than 2 full seasons of professional basketball on her resume. And then there's the seating chart, which is where this really starts to scare the people rooting against her. She's not being tucked away or treated like a novelty. She's not at the kids' table. She's sitting shoulder to shoulder with Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady. Top 75 all-time players. Living legends. Hall of Fame royalty. And Caitlin Clark will be right there with them, breaking down film, dissecting defenses, talking basketball as an equal. That moment does something no WNBA award ever could. It stamps her basketball IQ with unquestioned legitimacy. It tells the world the legends respect her, the network trusts her, and she doesn't just belong in the conversation, she belongs in the room with the greatest to ever touch the game.
They made a big splash when Michael Jordan was announced as a contributor for their NBA coverage. Now, he's only appeared a couple times. It looks like it was from the same interview, but just the idea of Michael Jordan on screen created buzz. Now, similarly, they've created some buzz with Caitlin Clark, who was announced as a special contributor for the broadcast. Also, she will be joining the crew there. You see Maria Taylor, Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. And CC will be making her TV analyst debut.
But now we have to address the elephant in the room, the dark cloud hanging over this entire announcement. because while Caitlin Clark is popping champagne with NBC executives and preparing to take over Sunday Night Basketball, the WNBA front office is drowning in chaos. The league is locked in a bitter, ugly labor dispute, collective bargaining talks are frozen, communication has gone silent, and the word lockout is no longer a rumor, it's a real threat. And this is where Caitlin's move turns from impressive to terrifying for the league. While the WNBA is trying to negotiate from a position of control, Caitlin Clark just secured a job that puts her on national television whether the league plays a single game or not. If arenas go dark, if the season is delayed, if the WNBA shuts down entirely, Caitlin will still be on your screen every Sunday night, smiling, breaking down NBA film, and building her brand in front of a massive audience. She has fireproofed her career and, in doing so, completely shifted the balance of power away from Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and straight into the hands of the talent. The league desperately needs Caitlin Clark for ratings, relevance, and momentum, but Caitlin Clark just proved she doesn't need the league to thrive. And NBC knows exactly what they're doing. They just reclaimed the NBA rights after more than 2 decades and needed a cultural shockwave, not just another analyst. They understand the culture right now is Caitlin Clark. They're weaponizing her fan base, millions deep, people who may not care about the Knicks or the Thunder but will tune in just to hear her speak. It's ruthless, brilliant business. They're elevating her to a level of stardom we haven't seen since Jordan, and the symbolism is impossible to ignore. NBC was once the House of Jordan, now they're building the House of Clark. The reaction has exposed deep fractures across sports media, with fans celebrating a woman breaking into the boys' club while critics rage that she's stealing airtime, calling it hype or a gimmick. NBC doesn't care. Hate watching still counts, and Caitlin is built for this moment. We've seen the clips, the charisma, the wit, the basketball IQ. This isn't a mascot hire. She knows the game, studies it, and can dissect a pick and roll as well as anyone on TV. Sitting next to Vince Carter or Carmelo Anthony, she won't be out of place, she'll belong. Add in Comcast, Xfinity, and NBC moving in lockstep and you see the bigger picture. A full Caitlin Clark ecosystem designed to make her unavoidable. WNBA games, NBA broadcasts, commercials, social media, non-stop exposure. The league just rolled out its 30th season schedule and expansion plans, yet one press release from Caitlin hijacked the entire news cycle. That loss of narrative control has to sting, because the power shifted the moment she started selling out arenas and pulling ratings bigger than NBA playoff games. And looking ahead, the implications are even bigger. NBC owns the Olympics. Los Angeles is coming. By integrating Caitlin now, they're grooming her to be the face of not just basketball coverage, but the entire moment, potentially starring for Team USA while also shaping the narrative on television. It's 4D chess. And if the WNBA strikes, if players are scrambling for overseas deals, Caitlin Clark will be broadcasting from Madison Square Garden, making millions, widening the gap between the haves and have-nots. Critics will say she hasn't earned it, that she's too young, that she should stay in her lane, but the numbers don't lie. Caitlin Clark is an economy. She moves money, ratings, and attention wherever she goes. NBC didn't hire her to participate, they hired her to win a ratings war, and by securing the biggest name in the game, they fired a warning shot at the entire industry. Adapt or get left behind. So when you see Caitlin Clark on Sunday night, laughing with legends and controlling the conversation, don't call it a TV appearance. Call it a coronation. The lines between leagues are blurring, the old rules are dead, and Caitlin Clark is standing at the center of it all, microphone in hand, running the show.